This is Ruth Little, and I'm the wife of candidate Fenn Little, who's running for United States Congress, and I'm here with Linnell Babbage Tourette. So when you felt that the incoming president did not match the Judeo-Christian foundation of the country, what did that lead you to do?
Well, as soon as I looked at all the reports, the news reports, the red flags were everywhere about his inexperience, the people that he had as his close confidants, people in the Communist Party. I was brought up with communism, and that was very disturbing to hear of his so-called Christian church where they were espousing goddamn America. We all heard that from his pastor Jeremiah Wright. Those are not the Christian values that I believe in. That lifestyle, that way of thinking is not compatible with the Constitution and with the American dream. So I immediately got on the bandwagon to try to stop this, because I knew the historic significance of having the first black president was going to be overwhelming. But at the same time, we have to adhere to the call that Dr. King said. And he said, if you read the I Have a Dream speech, he said he wanted his children to be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And somehow that got thrown under the bus with the President of the United States. And so that was very unfortunate. That was a very difficult battle for everyone in this country, because I think everybody wanted to move past the tainted legacy of racism that we had in this country. And I give them credit. They tried. They just tried with the wrong person.
Well, now, personally, then, as you felt this sort of calling from God to sort of get more involved, what did that lead you to?
Well, I became a volunteer at Republican headquarters, and after the election, and with one new debacle after another, it just has been a strong, I don't know the right word for it, but I have just been motivated so much on a daily basis to save our country, because there's nothing fundamentally wrong with our country. We have some corrections to make, but I do not want to see the Constitution of the United States dismantled. This is the greatest country in the world, and there is no other beacon of light for the world. Everybody wants to come here. That can be a problem, but the reason they want to come here is because of freedom. And our freedoms are being taken away from us without even due process. And that is a tremendous tragedy. And I am not going to sit by and allow that to happen without a fight.
Now, what are some other things that you see? Obviously, you've mentioned, our freedom slipping away and the erosion of the Judeo-Christian foundation of the country. What are some other things that you see as real problems and threats to our country?
Well, it's pretty obvious to me, and I'm just surprised. We just finished with 9/11. And, I was reflecting on that day, and I was thinking, how is it that after the horrors of 9/11, we elected a person with questionable ties to philosophies and theories that are completely against what we believe in this country. How could we have forgotten something so important like that? But in any case, it happened. And I feel that, the goal of this administration is to weaken this country. And I know that sounds pretty radical, but there's no other explanation for it. Anybody with common sense can see that, if you have the greatest country in the world and you cause economic chaos, if you are violating constitutional processes that we have normally gone through, and you promote executive privilege rather than going through the Congress. I mean, they're just daily. We are inundated with all of this, and it just seems pretty obvious to me that this administration is trying to weaken us with the oil crisis in the Gulf, and the moratorium on drilling. We do not need to be financing our own demise by buying oil from the Middle East. We do not need to question the governor of Arizona about trying to protect a state and its citizens. And I am so grateful for the Tea Party. Thank God for the Tea Party rising up. I just started a group myself. I was so infuriated. I heard some of my Democratic friends say, "Oh, Linnell, you know, the Tea Party is another name for the Ku Klux Klan." That's ridiculous. There's no difference from, as far as I'm concerned, the Tea Party movement and the Civil Rights Movement of the 60s. The Civil Rights Movement of the 60s demanded that the federal government uphold the Constitution. And the Tea Party is demanding that the federal government uphold the Constitution for all of its citizens, the same as we did in the 60s. And the Civil Rights Movement is not a black movement or a white movement, it's an American movement.
Well, now, what type of people have you met through the Tea Party movement? It's always an interesting source of controversy when you hear from people from the other side, particularly, that it's a bunch of radicals, and I certainly have not witnessed that, but I thought I would get your take on that.
Well, I think it's fabulous. I wish I could get my friends, my Democratic friends, to come in and see, but I'm still here. I haven't been lynched, tarred and feathered. They've been very supportive, and when I have tried to encourage them, basically, I'm there to encourage them to say, hey, I'm standing with you. I know this is tough. I know you're called names, racist, etc. I'm called an Uncle Tom. It's okay. This is the civil rights movement of our time, and we cannot fail, and we cannot allow the obstacles that the opposition puts in front of us to deter us. We cannot allow that. If we do it at our own peril, and too many people have died. From the Twin Towers to Afghanistan, you know, our entire history. If you look at our entire history, men have fought and died for this country. Too much blood has been spilled for us to just, you know, allow somebody else to, at the stroke of a pen, take all of that away. I will not do it on my watch. I will not allow it on my watch, and I am proud to be an American.
Well, and tell me a little bit, with Fenn running for Congress, we really feel like we're on a mission of unity, almost sort of a bipartisan.
Yeah.
Fenn is almost a bipartisan candidate, though he's conservative. How do your friends who are Democrats react when they see you involved in this conservative movement to restore America to its foundational principles?
Well, you know, they try to joke it away, but, you know, in your everyday life, when people are unemployed and the unemployment rate is 9 point whatever or 10 point whatever, you can joke all you want, but people are hurting more now than they were under the previous administration, regardless of all of the rhetoric that is going on out there. There are more unemployed people now, particularly in the black community, than there ever was before. And so my friends, you know, yeah, they kind of joke about it, but they know I'm an honest person. They know I'm a God-fearing person. And I don't stand up for anything unless I truly believe it. And my children are even coming around. They are Democrats. They voted for Obama, and they're beginning to see the light. And, you know, of course, they told me, well, you know, it's a historical thing. We're going to vote for a black person. But I raised them different from that, and so to live it in front of them is most important. I think we all have to live our principles in front of our children, and when they see us stand up for what we have espoused to believe, they'll be convinced.